social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
Grace and peace, everybody. Do you remember this?
Whether or not New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell needs to reimburse the city for her first-class travel upgrades may come down to who she works for. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for watching. I'm Katie Moore.
And I'm Sheree Skipson. The city travel policy is that city employees must buy the lowest airfare available or pay the difference if they elect to travel in other sections.
And Paul Murphy reports the legal question now is, does the policy apply to elected officials, such as the mayor?
A defiant New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell is refusing to pay the city roughly $29,000 she charged this year to upgrade her city air travel to business and first class.
All expenses incurred doing business on behalf of the city of New Orleans will not be reimbursed to the city of New Orleans. One thing is clear, I do my job, and I will continue to do it with distinction, with dignity and integrity every step of the way. And so that's what I have to say on that.
The city's travel policy states employees are required to purchase the lowest airfare available, and that employees who choose to upgrade from coach economy or business class flights are solely responsible for the difference in cost. The policy also states any reconciliation of travel expenses that results in overpayment by the city requires that the employee reimburse the city within 20 business days.
Well, the policy of the city of New Orleans says that employees, if they decide to fly first class as opposed to the lower fare, they have to reimburse the city.
The mayor listed the city of New Orleans as her employer on her financial disclosure form. But New Orleans attorney and legal analyst Tim Mesh says that doesn't necessarily make her a city employee subject to the travel policy.
But the issue is traditionally, what have mayors of municipalities been considered? And in just about all the circumstances, they're not considered to be employees.
City Council President Helena Moreno says she is now seeking legal opinions from both the city attorney and the council's attorney as to whether the travel policy applies to the mayor and if she has to reimburse the city for her travel upgrades. Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.
So we asked the city administration to clarify the travel policy and whether it applies to the mayor. We did not get a response to that question in time for this newscast.
So this was back in September of 2022. Well, guess what? We're back and they're still fighting it out. So let's talk about the traveling mayor. We've been talking about these mayors and their travel habits. So let's see what's been going on since then.
New Orleans City Council members say they want to know who paid for Mayor Cantrell's recent trip to Washington, D.C.
Chris Joseph reports Cantrell traveled to Yale's Mayor's College Conference during a ban on all non-essential city-funded travel.
So the ban prevents elected leaders and employees from traveling on the clock, and it specifies they can't use city funds to go to conferences. We have asked the mayor's office multiple times who paid for the trip. The office hasn't given an answer. On Monday, the office did release a statement saying the city would, quote, not incur a cost for the mayor's participation and attendance at the conference. Now, Cantrell's press team has not answered our questions about who's paying for the travel, food, lodging, and security at the conference. The council unanimously voted for the ban in February after Cantrell's administration backed out of a $90 million deal with New Orleans Public Schools. Her administration argued the city could not afford the deal. Now, council members J.P. Morrell and Eugene Green say they want answers on if Cantrell used city money for this trip.
And because you brought it up as an issue and you brought it up yesterday, I will look to determine who paid for the travel.
Who paid for the trip, what the reimbursements were, what the outlines were as far as what was going to be paid for, as well as if anybody else accompanied the mayor, and we haven't gotten any of the information yet. I believe that giving 24 to 48 hours is appropriate to get the information. And if we don't get the information within that time period, we will determine what the next steps are.
Now, Morrell released a scathing letter yesterday addressed to Chief Administrative Officer Gilbert Montano and Chief Financial Officer Romy Samuel, calling the trip patently unlawful. He asked for details on the trip and for them to withhold any city funds that may have paid for the trip. The full council has a meeting on Thursday.
Well, today, City Council President J.P. Morrell slammed Mayor Cantrell for violating a travel ban. A letter sent by Morrell criticizes her for attending a conference in D.C. amid what the administration called a financial crisis that's keeping them from paying up money owed to the school board.
Yeah, and late today, the city fired back, saying the mayor will not be distracted by misinformation that seeks to divide and disrespect. Alyssa Curtis reports.
Mayor LaToya Cantrell is attending the Yale Mayor's College Conference in D.C., and City Council isn't happy about it.
I'd call this entire behavior childish, but that would be an insult to children. The same children that she is withholding money from that is owed to them.
Because right now there's a ban on unnecessary travel for city officials, including conferences.
It's not acceptable if it was done on the city dollars at all.
The travel moratorium was adopted by City Council on February 27th. Cantrell did not veto it, so it became law Sunday and is in effect between March 9th and April 30th. The council took the drastic measure after the mayor refused to pay the Orleans Parish School Board the first installment of a settlement. $10 million was owed by December 31st, but the administration says they can't afford it. Now, Councilmember Joe Giarrusso says the mayor can't have it both ways.
I don't know how we say we don't have money and then we have money to go do things that we want to do. That does not resonate, and that's why I keep on saying this has been a manufactured financial crisis.
This isn't the first time the mayor's faced criticism for her flights, taking at least 14 trips since just the beginning of last year and upgrading to first class often. She ended up having to pay the city back for those upgrades and even had to respond to a state board of ethics charge. The mayor's office says this trip, though, was confirmed well before the council's ordinance. But according to Council President J.P. Morrell, that doesn't matter. Monday, Morrell sent a letter to CAO Gilbert Montano.
It is legally irrelevant that the mayor's latest lark was announced before the travel moratorium took effect. So even if the expenses are approved, the act of travel itself is also prohibited.
He says he doesn't want the mayor or anyone traveling with her to be reimbursed for the trip with city funds. While the mayor broke the law, she may not face consequences besides pushback.
What can we do? The tricky part is we can't take away all money in the city. We need trash to be picked up. We need grass to be cut. But at the same time, I think we can keep on saying publicly that if we're going to say we have a financial crisis, then all of us need to tighten our belts.
But Giarrusso says the school board may have a better fight now to get their money. Alyssa Curtis, WWL, Louisiana.
Giarrusso says the travel moratorium may be extended past its current April 30th deadline, and more purchasing restrictions may also be on the horizon.
The mayor's office didn't respond to our request for an interview, but they did release this statement saying, quote, the annual Yale Mayor's College Conference was confirmed on the mayor's office schedule well before the recent council ordinance, and the city of New Orleans will not incur a cost for the mayor's participation and attendance at the Yale conference.
All right. So that's another example of our traveling mayors, traveling, doing whatever they want to do, just unaccountable. I'm going to do what I want to do. It don't matter. Nobody can correct me. So let me know down below what you think, and I appreciate your comments. I want to thank Marcus for sending this video to me. He's a subscriber and sent this to me, said it might be interesting. He lives in New Orleans, so of course this is his mayor, so pray for him, of course. And I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for helping us hit 50,000 subscribers, and thank you for your support. Until next time, everybody, grace and peace.